I was set up on a blind date by my friends. It went well and now they're mad at me, but I don't know why. What did I do wrong? I, 25F, have been single for a couple years now. I had moved back home and just wasn't looking for anything, especially after ending my college career with a pretty nasty breakup. I recently moved to a new city, living on my own. Woo, and made friends with some new people through various hobbies. I've been spending a lot of time with one of them in particular. We'll call her Kelsey, 28F. She and I were fast friends, and she's introduced me to several people in her friend group, who have all been super nice up until this point, including her best friend. We'll call her Isabel, 27F. At some point when we were hanging out, it came up that I was single and not on apps or anything, and Isabel offered to set me up on a blind date with a friend of hers. I've never been on a blind date or honestly even been set up by a friend, so I said yes, that it sounded super fun, but I asked Isabel to send him at least one full body picture of me before he agreed to it. I should mention here that the reason I ask this is because I am pretty fat. I am very comfortable with it and have been fat all my life. It's never negatively impacted my ability to date, or anything else for that matter besides some thigh-chafing lol, and I love my body regardless. However, I am aware that I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and would rather he know in advance instead of feeling like he didn't know who he was signing up for and saving us both an awkward conversation. Isabel said she would. She showed me a few photos of him and he was fine as hell. A couple days later, Isabel confirmed he was down and sent me the lunch plans he had arranged. The day of the date comes and when I get to the place I spot him and walk up to say hello. Immediately, something is off. He tells me he's here for a blind date but with a totally different person. I mention Isabel's name and then his own name. He loosens up after he realizes I'm truly not a rando and shows me the pictures Isabel had sent him and they're of a totally different person who I don't recognize, not me. At this point I'm super confused and so is he. The rando girl in the pics looks nothing like me, we're not even the same race, body type, hair color, general style, etc. I shoot off a quick text to our group chat saying something jokey about the mix-up and then tell the guy Ryan, 27M, that we don't have to go on the date since he fully thought he was going out with someone else. He says he's down to at least get lunch since we're already here and it's one of his favorite restaurants. We actually wind up hitting it off. Afterwards we walked around the city, stopped at both of each other's apartments to change into less dressy clothes lol, and hung out so long we actually grabbed dinner together too. It was like 7 hours and one of the best first dates I've ever been on. At some point throughout the day, I took a selfie of us and sent it to the group chat. Neither of them had replied to my text about the mix-up and then all I got from the selfie was a reaction from Kelsey. The next day there was a park picnic that Kelsey's friend group had put together and they had invited me to at the last big hangout. I still hadn't heard from either of them and at this point was honestly pretty annoyed with Isabel for going radio silent on me, but I figured maybe my tone wasn't clear since I had made a joke about it when I broke the news and plus the date going well made me quite frankly care a lot less. When I get to the park, Kelsey, Isabel, and several other friends are there and the mood seems good. When I walk up, everyone seems friendly enough and Isabel gets up to hug me and say hi. I sit down and she asks me how the date was, and says that's what they were all talking about before I walked up. She said she was off her phone all day yesterday and woke up this morning, saw my texts, and realized her mistake. She said it was a total accident and that her brain just did that thing where like you mean to tap one thing and your brain just doesn't listen and pushes a different button. To be honest I didn't really buy this from the jump, but again, date went well and I'm in a good mood so I kind of don't care, just planning to keep Isabel at arm's length going forward. I tell everyone about how great it was and how much time we spent together. In real time, I watch the smiles drop from Kelsey and Isabel's faces. There are 4 other people there, none of them seem to notice, just telling me that they're happy for me and glad it went well. Out of nowhere, Kelsey just looks me dead in the eye and asks me, "Are you serious?" I said, "Why wouldn't I be?" And then she starts raging. She tells me I'm all kinds of bad words, for getting snarky with her after the stunt you just pulled and that I should be ashamed of myself. Then she starts angry crying. Now I'm panicking and thinking that maybe this guy is her boyfriend or something, even though she was totally there when Isabel initially told me about him. I look to Isabel hoping she can help and she tells me to get the out. I don't even move and just ask her what the heck is going on and who even is Ryan to Kelsey and what did I do? When I say his name, the other 4 people at the event go completely silent and all look down and start ignoring me. One of them goes to comfort Kelsey, who is still crying and yelling. People in the park are looking at us. Isabel looks straight at me and says very icily, "For your own good, never talk to Ryan again. He doesn't date whales like you." And pushes me. We're standing now, off the picnic blanket and onto the grass, not hard enough to hurt or make me fall, just to send a message. At this point I am so mad there's steam coming out of my ears, and I know I could snap this girl in half like a twig if it came down to it, but I keep my hands to myself like a grown woman and say maybe you should tell him that. He seemed to like this well enough last night. And then I got up and walked off, not looking back or else there's a real chance hands might have been thrown lamau. I went back to my apartment and immediately called my best friend and told her what happened. She was obviously pissed on my behalf but also incredibly confused at why they were so mad considering they set me up on the date to begin with. I don't know if they're mad that I went on the date, mad that he showed up, mad that it went well, or some combination of those things. It's been 2 days since the picnic fight, and I texted Kelsey directly to tell her that I had no idea what I did beyond go on the date that Isabel set me up on, and she endorsed. I told her I was sorry if I had done something to hurt her but would like to be able to understand what it is that I did, and that I hope she's doing okay. I have not reached out to Isabel and do not plan to. Haven't heard from either of them. I also haven't texted Ryan because I was so overwhelmed by everything that happened, but today he texted me to see if I wanted to go out again this week. I don't know if he has any idea what's going on or if this is some kind of setup, and I also don't want to rub salt in Kelsey's wound. I'm worried this guy did something really messed up to her or something like that. But I did really like him, and under ordinary circumstances I absolutely would go on a second date with him. Reaching out to Reddit because now that he's responded to me I need to make a choice. At the very least I'm contemplating seeing him again just so I can ask him if he knows what's going on so I can get some kind of answer as to what Ryan and Kelsey's connection is. I have known her for 5 months, which isn't long, but I've never ever seen her react that way to anything and it makes me worried. Is there a glaringly obvious faux pas I've made somewhere in here that I'm missing? How should I go about responding to Ryan given the circumstances? Is it worth reaching out to him to try and get my questions answered? Should I be concerned about Kelsey's well-being? Is there anything I can do? Thank you in advance.